Hi, welcome back to the channel, A Busy Retirement with me, Georgie. In today's video, I'm going to show you some label making. I'm going to do some pantry canister labels, office and craft container labels, and laundry spray bottles. Couldn't get my tongue around that one. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is the pantry and office and craft containers. I'm going to create these labels with PowerPoint. Many of you probably don't have vinyl cutting machines and the software that goes with those. And there is a way to create labels in PowerPoint yourself. The only thing is you are going to be cutting them out by hand. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to show you, these are labels that I have done. Okay, now I created all of these labels in PowerPoint. Now the thing with labels is if in PowerPoint you're going to have to know the exact size. So for example, I've got a pantry canister here. So I'll need to know how big do I want my label to be. Now these are curved corners, so the flat piece is only from there to there. So my label would have to be this wide, but I could make it as long as I like. For my office containers, these drawers for paper, they've only got, well, even 2 finger width is too much. So I had to measure that to that. On the bigger ones, I could do the bigger labels. So and you'll see here what I've got for the office ones. These are for the bigger drawers, and these little tiny ones are the ones that will go on. Actually, these are the ones for the bigger drawers. This is just my example in a larger format so you can see what I did. So I've got canister labels. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So I've got all different sizes. This is the second size up. There's one that's about that short. Then there's one a bit taller. Then there's really tall ones that will hold your spaghetti, fettuccine, whatever. And then there's it's actually longer. It's about this wide. And that one you can use for your flour, so you can get a scoop in and things like that. So, but to have the pantry looking neat, I'm doing all of the labels the same size. The herbs and spices ones, these are tiny little containers. So they've got smaller labels still. So these are the ones created in PowerPoint. Now the other ones I did were these ones, and these are for my spray bottles. Now this is my spray bottle. I've got a few of these now. I did have some round ones. I'm changing them all to the square because they do fit more neatly on my shelf. And my shelf is not tall enough to fit your commercial spray bottles. You know, you get your sprayer wipe or Mr. whatever it is that you use, Mr. Muscle. They won't fit in. So what I'm doing also is I'm making my own cleaning solutions. So I can make as much or as little as I want and pop it into these bottles for spraying. So I can do a narrow but long label, and that's what I've done with these. And these ones have actually got this side here has got what's in. I keep looking over, I'm looking at my camera and it's not over there, it's over here. My controls for my video are over on the other screen. So I've got to remember to come back here to you, so I'm looking at you. So this side of the screen is the one that's got the name of the product. So what is it? What's it for? Floor cleaning, Dettol, self-explanatory. It's an antiseptic, it's disinfectant, all-purpose cleaner, so you can use it for spraying the bench tops, your cupboard doors. You can actually use it on the floor, but I wouldn't recommend it because there's a little bit too much dishwashing liquid in it, which will make your floor sticky. Therefore, I've made an actual floor cleaner, and that has less of the dishwashing liquid. So what I've done on the back of the, so that'll go on the front of the bottle, and on the back of the bottle here will be this label, which has what products are in that solution and how to actually make it. So that way, when I come to, instead of having to print off heaps of paper, store it somewhere, it's already on the bottle. I don't have to go hunting through all my instruction. I've got a file of recipes. If I put that in with it, then I've got to go and find that as well. So it's on the bottle, it's there. I just grab the bottle, take it with me to the kitchen, mix up my solution, top my bottle up. So this lot was made in Leonardo Design Studio, which is the software that comes with the Caesar cutting machines, the Caesar Juliet and Caesar Romeo. Now, you could do these in PowerPoint, but to have the shape, that's some mighty fine hand cutting. You'd have to have very precise scissors and a very steady hand to cut them out. So that's what we're going to cover today, and at the end I'll give you a few more tips on what else to do with your labels. So first off, let's go to see how did we make these labels here. And as you can see, I've got a diagram already set up for you, so that if you want to do this in PowerPoint yourself, you can pause this video here and follow these instructions. Now, the measurements on here, I've done them quite wide so that you can see what I'm doing. Once you've got your measurements for your labels, I would recommend that you actually use that measurement. So if your measurement is 5 centimeters by, say, 9, if I was doing it for the spray bottle, or doing it for the canisters, it might be, so do it the opposite way around and have 9 as your height and 5 as your width. It'd be up to you, whatever you do. Where I've got outer blue rectangle, you would do it 9 centimeters by 5 centimeters wide. Okay. I've put the inches for this one here. I'm sure you can work out the inches yourself. And then your inner red circle needs to be smaller. And I've done that 1 centimetre, which is quite a lot. 1 centimetre is about that deep. It doesn't look like it on here. But if I printed that, that would have a gap of 1 centimetre. So, as you can see, I did this for convenience, so you can see what I've done. So I've got my inner circle, and I've done them in different colours just while I get it set up. Once I've completed it, then I can choose what colour, whether I have blue on the outside, red on the inside, or red on the outside, blue on the inside, or I can change the colours completely. I could do purple and orange, or green and yellow. It's up to you, whatever you want to do to match the colour scheme of where your labels are going to be, usually in the kitchen, in the pantry. So these are just an outline of how to get it done, just to show you. And what you have to do is do your outer rectangle first. And once you've got your outer rectangle, and you've got your measurements, then you know your measurements for your inner rectangle is 1 centimetre in each width and height. Then you're going to need to do 2 circles. One for the outer, as you can see this blue is the same as this, it's the same thickness, and that cuts out that corner so that your labels look like this. And you see here that the circles are the same size. They're both 3.5 centimetres in diameter, vertically and horizontally. That is so that your gap here at your cutoff stays uniform all the way around. If I made that smaller, the gap, it wouldn't be symmetrical on the corners. So that's the reason I've done this big. So you can pause this video, and if you've only got a single screen, I would suggest you pause the video over to the left of your screen and open PowerPoint into the right of your screen and work from there. I'm lucky I have 2 screens, so I can do all my work over here and I have something on this side. I've got one page actually at the moment open, and that's for the Leonardo Design Studio, just so I've got the instructions for myself. I haven't been using my cutting machine very much lately. I just haven't had time to get around to it, and I've had no projects to do. So same with anything, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I couldn't remember how to get my shape so that it only cut out around the outside, especially with these dolphins. It was giving me a contour cut that took in the whole bit. So it was going to cut out the card, the label, but then it was going to cut this out separately as well. And that took some doing. So that's what I would suggest, is you keep your video and shrink it a bit just so you can still see the instructions here, and then have your PowerPoint open and for doing your labels. Now also, another thing I would suggest is you could do it like this and print it, but these are very small, so I could fit them all on the page. Now if I wanted to do it, and I'm going to start one here now, I want to do, what should we work on? I'm going to do it in even numbers, it's easier. So I'm going to do 6 centimetres high by 10 centimetres wide, maybe. And remembering, this is going onto an A4 sheet, but if I put an A4 sheet against the screen, it wouldn't. It's not exact. So the first thing you're going to need to do is, on your home screen, you've got 2 options. You can go to the insert button and insert shapes, or you can just do it from the insert shapes or the shapes icon here on your ribbon. So we'll do it from here, and we'll grab a rectangle. Now I need to get that exact, and you can see up here on the right hand side I've got it 3.34 centimetres high, so I'm going to change that to 6, and it's 7.97 wide. I'm going to change that to 10. Now that still looks awfully big to me, but just for instruction purposes, I'm going to leave it quite big so that you can see what I'm doing. And then you can practice it yourself, making them smaller, different sizes. Okay, so I don't want all this filled in. So I'm now going to right click on here, and I'm going to format shape. And on the right hand side of your PowerPoint screen, you will now get your format shape options. So first one is colour. So it's got solid fill, we want no fill. If I click out of that now, that line, it's still a little bit small to see for working purposes. So click back on it, and now I can select line, which is below the fill. Now I've got a solid line. I'm going to make that, I think I might make that red. And I'm going to make it a little bit wider than 1 point. I'm going to make it 2.5. So it's a little bit thicker. Now we can see it, okay? Now what I need to do next is I need the inner rectangle. So I'm going to go back to shapes. I'm going to grab the rectangle. Now I'm holding down my left mouse button to do this dragging. I should have mentioned that before. Now this shape is 4.41. I'm going to make it 5 because I don't want a really big gap. So it's 1 centimetre smaller than the outer one, and I'm going to make this one 9. So that is also 1 centimetre smaller, but it's not centered. So what we need to do now is right outside, don't click on the line, outside of the outer box, click your left mouse button and hold it down and drag so that you've taken in all of what you've just done. And up here on your ribbon now, next to shapes, you've got arrange. And down here you can position your objects. So I'm going to align it. I'm going to align them center, horizontally, and then I've got the vertical middle. And that has now put that blue square slap bang in the middle of the outer rectangle. Now back to fill, we want no fill, and I'm going to change the colour of this to, let me see, what have we got? More colours. Go to standard colours, let's have a nice, oh, green's a bit hard to see, isn't it? How about that green? And we'll make this one 3.5. Okay, so now we've got 2 rectangles that we're going to be working with. Now I'm going to left mouse button, hold it down, and I'm going to drag this one out of there for now, because what I need to do now is get the circles to cut that concave shape and remove this corner. And to do that, back to shapes. Now there's no circle in PowerPoint, there's an oval. But you can make this oval a perfect circle by clicking on that, hold your left mouse button down, hit your shift key and drag. And I can keep dragging as much as I want. As long as I'm holding that shift key down, that stays a circle no matter how big I make it. Okay. I'll show you what happens if you don't hold. Oops, let's go back to the home screen, get a shape, oval. Doesn't matter what I do, I can't get a perfect circle unless I'm really careful, or I have to go over and change the size here. So it's easier, hold down your shift key and you get a perfect circle every time. Now I'm going to make the circle size. I'm going to do it out here for now first. Oh, I'm not holding my shift key. See what happened? I think I've stuffed that up. I did. All right, because I wasn't holding the shift key, it changed shape. Whoop. Okay, let's put the same one back. All right, so I've got 2.5. I'm going to make it, I think, how tall are we? I think I'm going to make it 3 and 3. And then I'm also going to take the fill out. I'm going to change the line colour to red again and make it 2.5, same as this one. All right, so I need 4 of these. So make sure your mouse is actually on the line itself. If you click in the middle, it doesn't do anything. Your cursor must be on the line and it will select it. Right click, copy, right click, paste. And if you have your function keys on your keyboard locked, I'm assuming you're using a desktop with a keyboard. I can't help you with phones. I don't know how they work. So I don't know that I'd want to use PowerPoint on a phone anyway. So if you've got your function key on lock and you can use your function keys, if you hit F4, that'll give you as many as you want. I could go along and hit F4 10 times and I'd end up with 10 circles. So the first thing I need to do is I need to find the center of the circle. And as you can see, I'm on the left hand corner of the rectangle and I have a vertical line through the middle, a dotted one. I need to just move this very carefully. And now I've got the horizontal line coming out from the corner of the rectangle out to the outer circle. That is now perfectly centered on my circle. The trick now is to release your mouse button without your mouse moving. And sometimes I'm holding my mouse that tight to make sure I've got used to it, because one of the mouse I was using before this new one I bought last week, I had to hold it tight to push it down to make it work. Because on my old mouse, there's like a little pad at the bottom here, which is what makes it glide. Mine had worn away, so it wouldn't glide. So I was holding it down and pushing it hard, and as soon as I released the button, the mouse would move. So it was not easy trying to set up the original labels, as you can imagine. So that one I now know is completely in the center. So I'm going to bring this one down to the bottom left. And I'm going to show you here. I'm going to move it. Whoop. Now on this one, I'm in the right spot vertically, because I've got, you can see there's a red dotted line on either side. So your circle's here, either side, it's lined up perfectly with the one above it. The horizontal line is not in the center. So I'm going to try and keep that there. And there you go, I've just dragged it far enough, and the red horizontal dotted line is in the right spot. Release my mouse button. Again, hold down your left mouse button. Let me move this one out of the way because it's going to cause a problem. All right, so here we go. Now there's the vertical, but you can't see the horizontal lines lining me up with the one on the left hand corner. So just slowly, gently move. Whoop. Now I've got that. Whoop. Now I've got the lot. You have to excuse my oop. It's something I can't help. It's just a habit I've had for years using PowerPoint and moving stuff around. Okay, so that one's done. And now the last one. We'll get you. Now, we're not going to see the lines in the middle coming from the corner of the rectangle. We're only going to see the outer lines where it matches the vertical. So I'm okay with the top one. And I'm not okay. There you go. Now I've got the horizontal, which shows me I'm in perfect line with the one on the bottom left. So I know that one is in the center. Now what I need to do, I've got to cut this little corner off here. So again, outside of your shapes, left click, drag down, and that's now highlighted the whole lot. And above your ribbon on your menu bar, we need to go to shape format. And on here, over to the left, there's a little cylinder. And this merges shapes. Now sometimes when I look at that at the moment, I'm actually looking through it that way. But then I come back and look at it and I'm looking at it down that way. It's a bit of an optical illusion. So click on this and you've got options. So you've got union, which gets rid of the corner, but it keeps the outer part of the circle. You could turn that into a dog bone if you wanted to. All right, that one, I don't know what that is, combine. I don't know what that does. I haven't tried it. I don't know about that. That one just, the whole thing disappears, so that's not useful. What we're going to do is subtract. So sitting on subtract, you can see I've now got the shape that I want for my label. So click on that and those circles have gone permanently. All right, we're now going to do the same with this one. So back to shapes, back to this oval, hold your shift key, draw your circle, pop up to the right hand top corner of your ribbon. Let's change that back to 3 centimeters, 3 centimeters, and then no fill. And then the line, we're going to change the colour of that to the green that was selected before, and we're going to make it 3.5. I can hear something outside. I don't know if somebody knocking at the door. I'll be back in a minute. It was a crow. It was pecking at the guttering on the patio. What happens is they sit on the top of the roof of the patio and then they bend themselves under to see if there's any spiders underneath the roof. So that's what he was doing, he's pecking at it. So anyway, let's get back to where we were. So we've got our circle, it's 3 centimeters. We've changed the colour to the green and made it 3.5 in width. And again, we need 4 of these. So right click, copy, right click, paste, F4 gives me 2 more. I'm going to move these out the way so that they're not interfering with what I'm doing. All right, so the first one, I'm starting at the right top corner this time. Again, you can see I've now got the vertical and horizontal red dotted lines. So that circle's centered. We'll grab this one and bring that one down. Again, top and bottom, so I know I'm in the right place there. I've just got to maneuver until I get my vertical red dotted line. And no, there it is. That one's done. Let's bring this one up to the bottom right. That one, oh, look at that, perfect, straight off. So the vertical is okay. I'm in line with the one above, and the horizontal red dotted line is there coming out from the corner of the rectangle. Beautiful. Getting good at this, aren't I? And then this one, red dotted lines, left and right of the upper one, and top and bottom of the right lower one. Okay, and again, we're going to left mouse click, drag and select all, shape format again here up at the top, over to the little cylinder and subtract. And now that can go in there. Now to make sure this is all correct, I'm just going to highlight, go back to arrange, align horizontally center, align vertically middle. I had it perfectly there. So there's your label. So then I can do, to move it into place, I have to make sure I have my cursor on at least one of these outer boxes, and then I can move the whole thing together. And then what I can do is, whoops, see, I didn't get the whole thing. It's only highlighted the inner box. Make sure you're well outside all of it. And now I'm going to copy, oh, no. Cursor on one of the boxes at least, right click, copy, paste. Now I'm just going to do a few, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is not going to be easy. This is the problem with PowerPoint, because it just pops it over the same one. So I'm going to try and get this. I don't want that. That won't work. I want to get one red one and one green one. It's not doing it, is it? There you go. And grab that. No, all it's doing is pulling the one out. Alright, looks like I'm going to have to do it one by one. Pull a red, pull a green, and then I can line them all up later. I've got 3 there. Okay. I'm going to take that one out. So this is the hardest part of doing things in PowerPoint. You have to have the time and you have to have patience. I'm going to get rid of the rest of those because it's going to take too long for this tutorial. So I have to line them up. Oops. I'm just going to try, I didn't try this before, and see I can get all of those now. And let's arrange, see what happens. Center, yeah, I thought that'd happen. It's just chuck them all into the center, so that doesn't work. You're going to have to do it individually, especially this one, because we can see that one's out of whack. So center, arrange, align, middle, and then you can put your text in. So home, we're going to insert this time, over to text box on your ribbon. And what I do is I start down here so I can see, and let's put plain flower. Now I can change the font, make it 12 points, and change it to, what have we got? French script. and then drag your text box up here, and then I can make it bigger. So what I need to do now is highlight my font, and I can make it, there we go, that's 28, so you can see it. I can change the colour of the font if I wish. Alright, there's only the flower was highlighted there, so let's go and highlight the whole lot. And we're going to make that red and make it bold. And there's a label. And that's how you can do them all. Okay, so that's the shaped one. Now I'm going to show you how I made this one, because this was fairly easy. I'll leave these at the top so you can, let me see, can I move them all up a bit? Move that one. Okay, so the next one is again a rectangle. Now I'm going to make that long and thin. And I'm going to keep the blue background, but I'm going to make it a pale blue. Now I've already got my colours set up. But what you can do is go to more colours, select your standard colours, or if I want to use that blue but I want it paler, I can go to custom colours and move up. And you can see down here it's changing colour. So there's a nice pale blue, and it didn't work. Okay, it's put it on my colour chart for me. So there's the pale blue, and then I'm going to get another rectangle. I'm going to pop it in the middle, and this one I'm going to change to white. Now that's got a box around it, which we don't want to see. So click on that one, go over to your line on the right hand side and say no line. And that gives you a white space. You can still move it around, but you don't see the black line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab all of that, holding down the left mouse button, arrange, and I want it centered there, and I want it in the middle vertically. Okay. Now, if I want to put my text in, all I do is highlight the box, double click inside the box, and there's my cursor. My cursor's in the center, ready for me to type. Let me use the French script again. So this one is going to be white copy paper. Whoops. What did I do there? Red, bold. That's 36. And then what I have is go to insert pictures from this device. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. I need to go to my desktop. I need to go to graphics. No, it's not in that one. It's in desktop. It's in YouTube channel under graphics. Okay, it's not. I've started a folder for all of those. Let me see, is it in here? In here. Sorry about that. It took me ages to find which folder I'd actually put the dolphin graphic in. So I had to go searching for it, which took some time. And in the meantime, I've made myself a cup of tea because it is freezing cold here at the moment. Anyway, let's get back to it. I found the dolphin graphic. I've put it into the folder now where I had everything else for this project. I hadn't transferred it across, unfortunately. So, got it now. Let's keep going. Go to insert picture from this device. Now 2026 videos, 6th of June, label making, and there it is. Insert. Now he's a bit big, so I'm going to rotate him and pop him over there, and I'm going to make him small enough to actually fit in there. Now, oh, I've got an itchy nose. Now I'm going to have to copy him and paste, move him over here. Now I need to flip him, so I can't remember how to do it. Alright, let me go and Google how to mirror an image in PowerPoint. Okay, picture format tab, of course it would be in there, and then click in the arrange group. Well, there you go. And I now need to find the arrange has gone in here. That's interesting. Align, rotate or flip. I don't want to, there we go. So flip horizontal, it's not a mirror. So, all right, we'll go through that again. Highlight the image, go to picture format, go down here to rotate objects and flip horizontal. I'm used to doing everything in my graphics program. Right, now that, if we want to put him to the edge, pop him over so that he matches. I can make this bigger. Now I can make this one bigger because, remember I showed you these drawers? That's quite a wide drawer. But I still need to make sure, if I go to sizes, that the width is 16.55. I need to make sure that that will fit 16.55 centimetres, otherwise I'll have to shrink that in the width. Alright, so that's how that's done. Now I also did a small one, as you can see. It's exactly the same process. I made it thin. This one's deeper for the deeper drawer, and then the same with these. Some of them are thin, some of them are wide, because I've got a variety of different type and different size drawers. Okay, so that's that one. Now what I did after I'd created these, I actually put all of these into my Caesar program. I saved these, I just saved that one as an image. I only saved one of these. So like, I saved one of the red, I saved one of the blue in my folder so that I could import them into my Caesar program. If you were going to print them from here, you would have to line them all up and then you could print them off. Now I've got a Canon printer, inkjet printer, and what I use is, let me go back and find the image back in there. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to show you. I'll pop in a new slide, and then I'll just drag that across and pop it in. Okay, so this is the paper. It's not actually paper, it's vinyl. White printable adhesive vinyl sheets. Now I got these at the craft shop. In Australia it would be Spotlight. Now Crafter's Choice is, it's not a normal A4 size. This is a US letter size, which I didn't realise. So I'd done everything to A4, printed it off on A4, and it wouldn't fit. So yeah, just make sure the printable vinyl you're getting, or that you purchase, just make sure with your measurements here that it's actually A4 or US letter. Now a normal A4 sheet, let me find one, compared to that measurement, which is 21.6 centimetres by 28 centimetres. I did write it down on a piece of paper, but I can't find that piece of paper now. Let's get my tape measure. So an A4 is, it's 21 centimetres wide, so the width doesn't change, it's the height that changes. An A4 sheet is just a tad longer, and it's 29.5 centimetres, which is about 11.5 inches long. So it's just a little bit, but just enough to make it that it won't fit on your vinyl if you set up for an A4. Now that's setting it up in the Caesar Leonardo software. But as long as you get white printable adhesive vinyl sheets, then it will stick to your item, whatever you're putting it on. And you don't need heat. It's not a heat transfer vinyl. It's just a stick on. Okay, so there, mine printed off on the vinyl, and you can see it's on the Caesar machine, on the Leonardo software, because it's got the marks to show that it's within the cutting frame. So when I send that to my cutter now, that will cut each individual label out. So that's how to make your labels. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to produce this video and see how long it is, and if it's going to be too long to continue on with showing you how to make it in the Leonardo software, because that's also a learning curve and there's quite a lot involved in that. So if it's not too long, I'll come back and do the next segment. Otherwise, I'll just come back and close this video off with the word puzzle, and I'll do a second tutorial on using the Leonardo software and other tips as well. So I'll see you back here one way or the other shortly. Okay, now just a couple of tips that I had for you. With your labels, once you've printed them on your glossy vinyl stickers sheets, leave them aside for at least 24 hours so the ink can dry properly. Being on glossy paper, the ink will smudge easily. I did try, I had a couple of duds because I set it up for A4, not realising it should have been US letter size. So I already had two sheets that were no good. So I tested it, I wet my finger, rubbed it, and the ink actually smudged. So I actually have some spray that I use on CDs when I print on CDs, and it seals the ink on the CD. I left the sheets for 2 hours. I sprayed them. I left them for another 2 hours and I went back, wet the finger, and it still smudged a little bit. Not as bad as it was without the spray. But the ultimate protection that I have ordered it is a self-adhesive laminate sheet, and that actually, it waterproofs it. So when I put those labels on my canisters, say I've got one in the pantry and it gets a bit messy and I need to wipe it down, with the laminate sheet over it, it's protected. Now, I ordered some laminate sheets from Averix over east, and unfortunately I had to pay $9.95 postage. I'll show you here. Now, they're only $19.99 for the pack of 20 sheets, and I ordered them on Sunday afternoon because I realised I needed to get some. I did try. I'd been out to Officeworks and I'd been out to Spotlight, and I couldn't get anything at either of those. So I have ordered stuff from Averix before for my vinyl cutting and that. So I knew I was going to get good quality anyway. But, you know, the postage makes it a bit unfair, because I had a look on Amazon, and as you can see by Amazon, it was $19.99. It's from Averix. It says the Averix site. But because I've got Amazon Prime, I don't have to pay delivery with Amazon. So work that one out. I'm not quite sure how it does work. So anyway, what I'll do is, when I do the dolphin labels in the Leonardo Design Studio, I'll show you, I'll go through the whole process and show you the printing, and then I'll show you the laminating as well, to show you how easy it is. You don't need a laminating machine, it's just press on. So I'll go through that with you and video what I'm doing and explain it as I'm going. So I'm going to call this here now for this video to keep it short, and we'll do the word puzzle from last week, which was this one. How did you go with that? Easy? Crossroads? I'm going to have to find some more harder ones, I think, more difficult ones. Something to make the brain work a little bit harder. So anyway, this week's is this one. See how you go with that. And again, pop it down in the comments or send me an email if you want to let me know if you got it and how quickly you got it. So I will say it's actually Tuesday. What time is it? 3:22. So it's Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to treat you, and I'm going to get this put up tonight instead of waiting till Wednesday, because I've been so all over the place and not getting regular videos up. I'm going to give you a treat. So I'm going to do this one, get it up tonight, finish it off, and then I'm going to see if I can get the Leonardo Design Studio one done and get that up by the weekend for you. So, yeah, special treat, 2 in the week. So I am going to say good night or good morning, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye for now.